the Hall of Fame weekend. The gala is the 9th gala. This is a trilogy gala. So we'll announce the 2 fighters going in for 2020 pandemic year. If we're ready. First one, the Money Man, Pretty Boy Floyd Money Mayweather, will be going into the Hall of Fame, the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame this year for the year 2020. And I'll just let you do your thing from there. I know you got tons and tons and tons to say about arguably the GOAT.
Some would say 3 letters, TBE.
Yeah, inarguably the greatest of his era.
Yeah.
Definitely the best fighter from when he was active. 1998 to 2015, there was no one better than Floyd. And there, people will. He's on the short list when you talk about who is the greatest fighter of all time, pound for pound. And I think it's important to note with Floyd, when you think about it, if you pose that question yourself, is he the greatest fighter pound for pound? The guys that you might pick over him historically, you'll take. Well, I think
no.
The guys that you might take over him historically, I'll take Tommy Hearns at 147 or something like that. Or Sugar Ray Leonard would beat him at 147. But those are guys that wound up knocking out super middleweights and light heavyweights. It's called pound for pound for a reason.
Right.
Floyd Mayweather was a natural 130 pounder.
Yeah.
When you think about it, how many people would you really pick against him pound for pound?
Right.
You'd pick Tommy Hearns at 147.
Right.
Would you pick him if he was 5'8",
Right.
like Floyd?
Right.
Okay, you pick
Right.
Sugar Ray Leonard maybe at Sugar Ray Robinson, but would you pick them if they weren't almost 6 feet tall?
Right.
If they were natural 130 pounders like Floyd?
Right.
So arguably on the short list of who's the toughest fighter to ever beat pound for pound, he's up there.
Yeah.
And even people that were critics of his style, none of them questioned his skill. So even like the harshest Floyd critics, he was boring, he was too defensive. None of them were like, man, he's garbage. They're like, man, he's unbelievable defensively. I just wish he was more offensive. That's like the worst criticism you can possibly have of him.
Well, in the first half, when he's fighting guys his size, the 130s,
the 130s.
He was wasting people.
And being a local in Vegas for 25 years, we didn't have a professional football team at the time, hockey team. He was our professional sports. He brought everybody out. He had all his fights. I think majority of the last 10 to 20 was all in Vegas. I don't think he left Vegas.
Yeah.
But he put on for the city, and he was our go-to. And I mean, that's my guy. I got him as the greatest ever.
You gonna be there? See him get inducted?
Yeah, I'm there, baby. I'm be screaming.
Benavidez in
if you just
shout out to Benavidez.
Okay.
If you just box wreck it, right, and you just go down the wins and losses and the resume of each fighter, the names on the resume is sparkling in terms of just WWW and the names Cotto, De La Hoya, Pacquiao, Mosley, etc. It might be the best resume on paper ever. The only thing you could nitpick is when Leonard fought Hearns, they were peak against peak. When Ali fought for peak against peak. Pacquiao, the drug testing thing got in the way, and money and whatever, numerous things. So it wasn't peak versus peak. De La Hoya and Mosley were in heavier weight classes than him, and Floyd was chasing those guys. And by the time he caught them and moved up in weight, they still had juice in the tank. Shane was still, along with Floyd and Manny, the most dangerous welterweight in boxing. Oscar was still the champ at 154. So they had juice in the tank, but it wasn't peak versus peak. And some of that was really out of Floyd's control with timing and weight. But that, if you're nitpicking, that's the only thing he doesn't have that Leonard has or Muhammad Ali might have. But if you just look at the names on the resume and the longevity, it might be the best ever. Yeah.
Hey, people always said he waited till Pacquiao got older. Did people realize he was getting older too?
Yeah, aren't they close to the same age?
A year apart.
Floyd was 2 years old.
Like, I understand Pacquiao turned pro much earlier, so you could argue he's older in boxing years. But yeah, like they're almost the same age.
Yeah.
You're like, he caught Pacquiao when he was so old. I was like,
I thought it would never.
Sure that makes
I
sense.
just knew. I had a feeling we'll always go that way. It just he had nothing. He had nothing for Floyd.
TBE right there, and then of course we only got 2 going in for 2020. Sorry,
TBE and SOG.
2021. Yeah, sorry. El Capitan. Roy Jones Jr.
Where's the El Capitan going?
Captain Hook.
Captain Hook.
AKA Mr. Y'all
That's
Must
all
Have
that needs to
Forgot.
be said about him.
Nah, hey,
Anyone that doubts his resume, just go listen to You Almost Forgot. He'll run it down for you.
yeah,
You're good to go.
and he'll walk in right now and drop that freestyle.
Yeah.
He beat Bernard and Tony in their 20s. That's a wrap.
He hurt you with that win, right?
Which one, Bernard? Bernard, yeah. No, I love Roy too. So he
Okay.
was the better man. I'm happy he got that win. I just was like, when I first got into boxing, Roy was just finishing out on top. He had just beat Ruiz, and sometimes they'd still, he hasn't fought such and such. And once I knew boxing, I go, the guy beat Bernard Hopkins and James Toney when they were in their 20s. Like, you could be 2-0 and that gets you in the Hall
And
of
what
Fame.
does he say? They say I don't fight nobody. I
Just make them look like nobody.
Like
Yeah.
that's the simplest way. Just
But
to
they weren't
summarize
nobody.
it.
know he said
Well, I
that.
almost want to stop him and go, Roy.
he said that.
Yeah,
But I almost want to stop him, but Roy, they weren't nobodies.
Yeah.
but
He's like, yeah, you guys criticized.
Man.
Just made it look easy.
Roy, for me, he walking highlight reel. To me, the best highlights in boxing of all time. And then outside of the ring, just a dynamite dude. That Florida swag. And I just saw him at the Hall of Fame in Canastota. He said, "Yo, I'm big bro. Anything you need, let me know." And I think I might have said this before on the show, but I had to express to Roy, like, I grew up watching you.
Yeah.
Like, for you to say that to me is just, it's amazing. And I'm in that same position where a lot of guys are like, man, you sure I can have your number? Like, yeah, just text me anytime, you know? And it's just great to see that we are a family like that. And it's great to see guys like this going in at the same time. And that's why I'm encouraging everybody to come out for this year's gala, because you get a trilogy. You get to see the greatest fighters of all time, or definitely of our generations, the last 20 to 30 years, all going in at the exact same time. So make sure you guys go on NVBHOF.com and get your tickets for the Hall of Fame weekend.
Is Roy the best combination of speed and power ever?
I think he's the most gifted fighter to ever put on gloves. Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
And-
speed and power, I feel like I can't think. There's not somebody that comes to my mind.
Tyson.
Yeah.
Guys. There's a
Tyson's
few
up
others.
there for
Yeah.
sure, but
It was different though.
Yeah.
It was different. It
Yeah.
was different.
Legend.
You know who
He
shows?
made it look good too. While he was
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I can't even, yeah. So that's the Hall of Fame. Make sure you guys come on out for that and say what's up to us. We will
Favorite
be-
Roy fight? You got a favorite Roy fight? And Floyd, while we're at it?
Do I have a favorite
Roy?
Roy fight? I remember, so when I was first starting to watch boxing, Roy had boxed. I'm losing his name. He dropped the guy and then hit him while he was down. Who the heck?
Montel Griffin.
Montel Griffin.
After giving a whooping
He-
to Montel Griffin, late
Right,
hit, my
so-
title, they had to take it.
He
That's the
knows
only way I can lose.
He knows all of it because of the song. Like,
I know.
Rematch, one punch, and he sat down.
What did he say about Tarver?
Carson,
Oh, that was before Tarver. I think.
he skimmed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What did he
so,
say
yeah.
about Tarver?
Carson skimmed through the song
know.
and then be like, go on YouTube, like, oh yeah, that was good. Then skim through. But yeah, so that was when I was like coming in, really starting to watch boxing. And I remember he hit him when he was down. And as a kid in boxing, like, to me, that was just a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
And when he got disqualified, I was like, why is he upset? Like, you did a no-no, you know what I mean? So then the rematch happens, and collectively those two fights are my Roy Jones moment. And then, of course, if you fast forward, what he just did at the Hall of Fame, I thought was just dynamite.
Yeah.
And I won't be mad at him if he repeats at
Needs a whole new
it's gotta be
verse,
a
whole new bars.
But I won't be mad at him if he repeats.
So 10-year-old Shawn in 1997, when Roy knocked out Montel Griffin in one round, you were there in Cleveland, like.
when
Yeah.
that in the
got him the
rematch,
second time,
yeah.
And that's when I started to understand like why you have to be mean in the sport. And you learn something, man, from everybody if you paid enough attention. And he came to the ring with this level of anger
Yep.
and determination,
Yep.
which just was not. Montel had nothing that night.
I don't think anybody did that night.
Nobody had nothing that night for Roy.